Hello, welcome to the GameLab Kick-off. I will go through the contents of this course of GameLab, some events that are planned for you that are interesting, and course overview of all of the courses that are there, and discuss the speed dating session to get to know other people in year 2 in GameLab and to form groups, of course. But first, I want to introduce some new students that are joining us this year. So we have 4 exchange students that are doing GameLab as a minor. So those are José da Silva from Portugal, Dario Pinto from Portugal, Umberto Falkenhagen from Germany, and David Balesta from Spain. So welcome everyone, and all the existing students, give them a warm welcome, accept them in your groups, and give them a really pleasant time. As an exchange student, this is not easy. It's all online when you hope to arrive in a new place. So accept them in our community. Let's start with some events. Dutch Game Garden is always organizing network lunches in Utrecht, but since this is Corona time, that event is now online, and that makes it a lot more accessible to you. So if you're interested in joining a network lunch from the Dutch Game Garden, you can go there on the 3rd of March and subscribe to them by following this link, which is on dutchgamegarden.nl/calendar. There's a Web Gaming International Week from the Cardiff Metropolitan University, and you can join a week-long session to develop games with students from all over the place. Again, it's an online session, so it's much easier to get to know new people. And then there's Indigo, a business, game business and showcase event that's being held every year, somewhere in June. Again, this is an online event, and it's great to see what else is going on in the Dutch game industry. Glitch is the Student Association for game design for this study, and they are always organizing a lot of events. I'm not going through each one of these, but if something is interesting to you, get in touch with Glitch using their Discord server or Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and see if you can join some of these events that they organize. There's also some workshops, online company lecture, cosplay workshop, sketchum workshop, and coding programming workshop. Nice to have Glitch around. So let's continue. So those were the events. Let's talk about year 2. We've just finished the virtual reality block, and I've really enjoyed some of the projects that you've showed me, and it was good to see you in real life for at least a short amount of time. But that was the end of the first semester of year 2. We're now going in the next semester, block 3 and 4, which is built around the GameLab project that you're going to work on. So what is GameLab? What's its size? So I'm going to try to answer some of the questions around that. GameLab is a large project. It's a 2 blocks or 1 semester project, so almost half a year. It's about 20 weeks. And there's also a lot of credits involved in there. So it's a 10 EC project. It's something that, well, you will hopefully not fail because it's a lot to resit. But that's not the only course going on. This block, part of it is GameLab, but there's also Know Your Business, Design Research, and one of the elective courses for you to follow. So what is GameLab? GameLab is a project where you simulate a startup, starting with an idea or concept or case, and you start to build your company around it. So you prototype it, you see if you can, in connection with the business courses that are around, if you can find a business case for your project, you can maybe find a distribution channel for your project, and work towards an actual product that works by the end of block 4. That's why we have a lot of time to go through concepting phase, make multiple iterations, give you prototypes, and then in the end, develop a product that's workable. And we do this in a structured fashion. So we have a lot of gates that you need to go through, where we test where you are, evaluate your product, give you feedback, and maybe steer you in a slightly different direction. And the first gate is actually pretty soon. That's gate 1. That happens already in the second week of this block. So that's next week, pretty soon. And this is where you pitch your first ideas for your project. You pitch your project group, things like that. And there's another gate in week 5, one in week 8. And then at the end of block 4, there is a demonstration of all the projects that you have been making. And we'll organize probably an online event on Discord so that you can see all the projects that people have been working on. So this block, pitch. Gate 2 is the minimum viable product. And gate 3 is a first demonstration, not your final demonstration, but the first demonstration of your prototype. Here's a quick overview of what's been scheduled. And as you can see, coaching will not start before week 3. So after the holiday that we have in 2 weeks' time. Another thing that you can see is that there is a product demonstration and a competency-based interview for feedback on your portfolio, but not for a grade yet. So what will you do with the pitch? Well, before we can schedule all the pitches, we need to know what groups you will form. So we need some information from you, what groups you have, who's in your group, what your case is. Maybe you have a backup case that you want to present. And we want all of you, all of the groups, to submit this information by the end of this week, on the 12th of February, to gamelab@groups.hanze.nl. So again, make groups, prepare a group name, team members and the roles, the preferred case that you want to pitch or that you want to present, maybe a backup case if you want to pitch one, especially for Project X cases, this might be interesting. And then send all this information to gamelab@groups.hanze.nl before the 12th of February at midnight. And then I will make a schedule for next week for all the pitches. So next week we'll have the pitch. And what will you present in the pitch? Well, of course, we want to know what project you were working on. We want to know what your group is, what your team is, who's in there, what roles do they want to take. And I don't expect everyone to have a single role. Maybe there are people with multiple roles. Some preliminary research that you've already done. So maybe you already know a little bit on the cases. What have you read? What kind of directions are you thinking about? So this is your first pitch of the first ideas that you have. But it's short. It's only 10 minutes. And we'll schedule them for the 15th of February, which is a Monday, and between 9:30 and 15:30. And all the coaches are there. So all the coaches will listen into your pitches and give you feedback and maybe steer you in a slightly different direction if we don't think you made the right choices. Then in week 5, there's the minimum viable product. So this is something that you send to us over Blackboard. This is your first design of your project and maybe the first prototype that you created. And then gate 3, also in this block, you present your product, your first prototype to the clients and peers. We'll organize something on Discord in week 8. So you can collect some feedback from others on what you're doing. An important question, of course, is how is this all assessed? Since it's a large project, how do we want to assess you on this? It's group work, but of course we assess this all individually, and we do that again with a development portfolio and a curriculum-based interview. Most of you are familiar with that because that's what we've been using throughout year 2. For exchange students, it might be helpful to go over the documentation and ask your coaches to review your portfolio build-up before the final submission. So by the end of block 4, the end of these 20-week GameLab projects, you submit a development portfolio, and based on that submission, you will be invited to an interview. All the coaching will be online for week 3, unfortunately, as you might have already read. Hansa decided not to do any physical classes during block 3. I hope we can return to at least a few hours of physical classes in block 4, but all depends on what's going on with Corona, of course. There's one coach scheduled per class, but all coaches are available to you. So we'll make a spreadsheet where you can subscribe to all the coaching sessions, and you can shop around for coaches that fit best with the problems that you're currently or the questions that you currently have for your project. So what about the groups? As you might have heard, you can form every group that's possible. It's not class bound anymore. You can find students from A class, B class, or C class, D class, E class, and make groups that are a combination of these. There is no maximum size. So if you want to go for a 20 person team, not sure if that's the best direction, but if you really want to, you can pitch that to us, and that might be an interesting experience. Minimum is 3 students because we want you to work together with others, because that's part of the learning goals we have in a GameLab project. Since not everyone has a team yet, or maybe you decide to change your teams when you see the final project cases, I'll organize a speed dating event after this kickoff. It's not a big event, but at least we'll have some channels on Discord ready to find other team members, and hopefully you can find good project groups, good team members over there. All right, so like I said, you can mix project members from all classes, and this is a bit of an issue. Because once we do that, this will be a problem when following your business classes, for example. So what we've decided to do is that we will reshape all the classes after week 2. Once we know all the project teams that are around, we will switch everything around, put people from that are currently in A, B, and E maybe, and we'll place them all in one class. So from that moment on, your project team will stay together following these classes from week 3 and onwards. There's a whole list of assignments and clients that you can find. There's a description for each one of them on Blackboard, so please check your Blackboard. I can quickly go over them. There's a case for the police, which is related to VR or AR, called the Daily Prophet. The game Crisis Shelter for Zien. The Hyperloop VR visualization for Chris Dijksterhuis, one of the researchers here at Hansa. Interactive Nature for Broedplaats de Campagne. A piano music game from Heather Pinkman, who is a music teacher. At least one of her roles is a music teacher. And she wants to help students practice more or better with their music, and this game is built around that. And Grendel Games, one of the larger serious game companies here in the north of Netherlands is also involved in that case. Then there's Sound Structure for Kids, which is about the Dutch language, so about pronunciation of Dutch language. So you need at least one or two Dutch-speaking students to pick up that case. And there's a 2-button game, which is an interesting project for a person with disabilities who cannot use more than 2 buttons at once, preferably even one. So the challenge is to build a game that's playable with only that 1 or 2 buttons. And then finally, you have the option, the Project X option, to choose your own project idea. You still have to pitch it, and we might be a bit more critical because you don't have a target audience for your project yet. So you need to define that. And why would they want your project? Is there a need for it? Is there a want for that? So, but we've seen really nice Project X cases before. So there's definitely a possibility that your Project X proposal will be passed and you can work on that. Otherwise, you will need to pick up one of the other cases. There is a number of coaches involved. We have 5 coaches. Each class has 1 coach connected to them. So 2A has Armando, 2C has Joel, etc. But we want you to shop around because every coach has a little bit of his specialism. Gonna simplify it a little bit, but Armando is very interested in Unreal, has done some Unreal development in C++. So if your team happens to pick up Unreal for your project, it might be really wise to go to Armando and schedule a meeting with him. Same thing for 3D modeling. Go to one of our new colleagues, Statis, and ask him for some guidance in getting better in 3D modeling, for example, or on how you set up your scene in your game. So 2 of these coaches here are new coaches for us. So they have not been working at Hanze before. Statis is a new coach, and Armando Gerard is also a new coach. Please visit them and make use of their expertise. We have an interesting cooperation with a conservatory in Groningen, the Prins Claus Conservatory. There is a group of 5 first-year students that are from the music composition and production department, and for their course they need to compose music, possibly for interactive settings, for example games or serious games, and they really like to work together with the GameLab projects, and the 5 students will split up in 2 groups. So if you are interested in it, please contact them or contact them through me or over Discord, because they have access to Discord as well, and see if you can find a good match for our project. Not every project might need extensive music, but I know some of them definitely benefit from more music or better music. There's also another student from Conservatory in Haarlem who mailed us and also really wants to join one of your projects. So you can mail him at samcartiermusic@gmail.com and get in touch with him if you want some music from him. All right, that was GameLab. At least most of the important things that I mentioned. A lot of details are added on Blackboard, so please check Blackboard for more information. There are more courses, of course. There's also Know Your Business. And I will quickly go over these courses because the courses themselves will introduce themselves further. But Know Your Business is built around 4 master classes on team and network, on idea, customer and business, environment and revenue model, and ready to go. And I will skip this information. You will learn about that later. Then there is, of course, the electives that you've already subscribed for. So each one of you selected either the art, design, or development elective for this block. And there is an assignment connected to each of them. And it's a 6-week block that often works in sprints. And it allows you to dive deeper in your roles and learn from that. So these are the electives, again, of course, individually graded. Then there is the design research course. And in the design research course, you will learn more about evaluation of your products, testing with users, and things like that. And of course, we really want you to apply these methods to your GameLab projects as well. Quick recap, especially for GameLab. 10 EC project. It's a really large project. And you can start from concept, go through multiple iterations to finally create your complete case or complete product. So what we want you to do is form group, select cases, and you can use the Discord channels that I will announce in a moment for that, and mail your groups before Friday, 12th of February, midnight, to gamelab@groups.hanze.nl. And then I will make a schedule for you so that you can pitch your game design idea next Monday, on Monday the 15th of February, in 10-minute pitch sessions. So prepare those well. And remember that there are students that really want to collaborate with you on the music. And finally, there is a new class subdivision in week 3. So we can more easily schedule your classes and game lab sessions. All right, for questions, you can go to Blackboard or to Discord. My colleagues are there, are available. I try to reply some questions as well, but I have kids walking around at the moment because they couldn't go to school because of this weather. So unfortunately, I wasn't able to do all this in real life, or at least live. But I try to reply and answer your questions on Discord or on Blackboard. All right, speed dating session. If you check your Year 2 Discord channel, you can see that I created a new category, GameLab Speed Dating, specifically for this first week of GameLab. And I will remove those the categories after that. So it's already a messy, big Discord server, but we needed something there. And the way I've set it up is that I created 2 text channels, one called Looking for a Group. So if you are still looking for a group, you can find us, can post a short resume on there. And another text channel, Looking for People, and this is for project groups that are still in need of a developer or in need of a Scrum Master, for example. And the final thing that I created is voice channels that are built around the separate cases. So you can go there if you're interested in the police case, the Daily Prophet. You can go to the Daily Prophet channel and meet the people around that are around there. Maybe have 1-minute introduction sessions and then pass it on to the next person so they can introduce themselves. All of this, of course, to help you form the groups before Friday, 12th of February. Again, if there are questions also based around the speed dating, or if you have ideas for improvement, let me know and I'll try to make those improvements as soon as possible. Okay, that's it. Thank you very much for joining me. I wish you good luck in this project. I'm really looking forward to the end results already. And see you around in coaching. Bye.